So for the digital day, for distance learning here, I'm going to ask you, ignore the directions here where it says it's going to be done in 4 different groups. You're going to do this on your own. And so I'm going to ask you to, I'm going to go ahead and read number 10 to you, but then I'm going to ask you to do the parts of it on your own. So Tycho is a rising tennis star, but he still has to do chores for the team. He is supposed to sweep 1/2 of the tennis courts before practice. So that he does not hurt his tennis elbow, he's not supposed to sweep more than 1/8 of the court at a time. How many times will it take Tycho to complete sweeping his half of the court? So I'm going to ask you to do all 4 of these parts and then check your answers and see if you're going to have different pictures than I will, but see if it will your explanation and my explanation both make sense to you. So I took the tennis courts and divided into 2 halves, which are the 2 blue squares that are here. And then I took the 1/2 of the tennis court and I divided the entire tennis courts up into eighths by splitting basically the entire tennis courts in half again, and each section of that in half. So each one of those green sections is 1/8, as the yellow ones are too, but I can ignore the yellow ones because that's not in the half of the court that Tycho has to clean. So he has to clean, in this case here, he's going to clean 1, 2, 3, 4 of the sections of 1/8 sections. So that means it will take him 4 times for him to sweep half of the court. Explain why this is a division problem. You're finding how many 1/8s can fit into 1/2, which is 1/2 divided by 1/8. There's the math where dividing by 1/8 is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal times 8/1. And explaining the answer, we can fit 4 groups of 1/8 inside 1/2 of the tennis court, so it will take Tycho 4 times to sweep the courts. So now I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Try to, for number 11, swimming pool needs 6 2/3 gallons of chlorine to keep it clean. The container to pour the chlorine only holds 1 1/3 gallons. How many trips will you need to make to add all 6 2/3 gallons of chlorine? And make sure you draw a picture to represent the situation and answer all the questions before you check back. So I started off drawing in the blue there the 6 2/3 gallons. That's how much chlorine that we're going to need to add. And then I said, how many 1 1/3 gallons will fit into those? Well, that's 1 1/3 is actually 4/3. So for every 4, I filled in a different color. So the first 4 I filled in green, the next 4 I filled in yellow, the next 4 I filled in red, the next 4 I colored in black, and the last 4 I filled in with green. Well, how many of those were there? Well, there's the green, which is 1, the yellow, which is 2, the red, which is 3, the black, which is 4, and the green, which is 5. So there were 5 different trips that I would need to fill that in. So why is this a division problem? Because we're trying to figure out how many 1 1/3 will fit into 6 2/3, which is 6 2/3 divided by 1 1/3. In terms of the math, once I changed them to improper fractions, I had 20/3 divided by 4/3. First way I did it was actually realizing that they're already with a common denominator, so that division is easy. I just divide across. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And that's the one I have in red. 5/1 is 5. And then I did the other way, which is to 20 divided by 3, or 20/3. Instead of dividing by 4/3, I multiplied by the reciprocal, 3/4 reduced, and I also got 5 in the answer. So it's going to take 5 trips of 1 1/3 gallons to add 6 2/3 gallons of chlorine.